Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvina Vaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, may the Divine Being look over us lovingly as a mother and father. May the Divine Being support and nourish us as a mother and father. May we have the strength and skill to study together the art of spirituality. May no misunderstandings arise amongst us. Om, peace, peace, peace and beneficence to us and to all beloved beings everywhere. Well, good morning, everyone, and namaste. Welcome to our Sunday morning gathering of the congregation. We'll talk this morning about the topic, "The keys are yours for the taking." We'll get to that, but after a few announcements. A Mahashivaratri was celebrated yesterday all over the world, but I know there were celebrations here in Atlanta, and some of our devotees attended those. May all those observing this most auspicious holy day, if you've been observing it, may it have been fulfilling and uplifting. So that's a very authentic wish from here. Hollywood, of course, celebrated it each year, and it was my privilege to attend most years there, and to actually take part in it by helping make the sandal paste and so on. So it was a very joyous night. It went on most of the night, particularly after the prasad was taken and so on. You were getting home quite early in the morning. For those of you who wish to make use of our chapel, it is open as you wish to use it every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. But if you're going to come, particularly if you're going to come other than in the other than in the afternoon. In the afternoon, generally speaking, there's no difficulty. But sometimes I'm away from the center in the morning, particularly late morning for medical appointments and so on. So it's good to check and see that we haven't locked it up because there's no one here. Meetings, personal meetings with me are, of course, always by appointment. So please arrange those by phone or email. You can just call the center's phone. It redirects to my cell phone. Next announcement, Sri Ramakrishna's birthday will be celebrated with a puja on Sunday, February 26th from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m., Mother willing. Aditya Chaturvedi will be our pujari. This will be live streamed on Zoom. Still no in-person attendance at these events, but the prasad can be picked up as you wish on Sunday afternoon or Monday. You just have to let me know you want to come and get it, and I'll have some ready for you if you want some of the Master's prasad from the puja. That's all the announcements I could think of. Is there anything else that I should have mentioned or might have mentioned that I did not? All right. So we'll go on to this preface of what it is that we're studying today and this month. February is a month for the study of Bhakti Yoga. A Bhakti yogi, a bhakta, establishes a devotional relationship with God through study, prayer, ritual, and worship. This often begins with a feeling of reverence or awe, which may slowly grow into an ironclad conviction that everything, without exception, manifests God's power, grace, and glory. This is the feeling called Shraddha that emerges in a bhakta after some years of practice. As a bhakta, you practice giving every action, thought, emotion, perception, and tendency what Swami Prabhupada called a Godward turn. You think of it in some terms of the divine, whether it's offering it to the divine or simply thinking that it has some divine aspect to it. So you give everything a Godward turn. All your energies and attributes, both positive and negative, are offered to the divine presence. Your prayer, your constant prayer, is for self-surrender and ultimately union of mind, body, and spirit with your beloved. So that's the definition, the working definition of Bhakti Yoga. Today we're going to discuss the topic, the keys are yours for the taking. As I've been saying these weeks, please understand that none of this is meant as personal instruction for you. It's not my role to instruct you in how to think or behave. I'm simply offering the principles and practices of Bhakti Yoga from this viewpoint today. And if there's anything that is useful to you, please make use of it. If you find something useful and some things not useful, use those that you can. If you find nothing useful, then just be a passerby and know that it is offered in joy and good spirit for those who can make use of it. So that's the caveat. This is not meant as in any way as dogma or something that you must believe. So here's what you can expect this morning. First, a guided meditation, then a conversation with you about these ideas. He who is the Lord of the universe will teach everyone. He alone teaches us, who has created this universe, who has made the sun and moon, men and beasts, and all other beings, who has provided means for their sustenance, who has given children, parents, and endowed them with love to bring them up. The Lord has done so many things, and he will now show people the way to work. Will he not show the way to worship him? If they need teaching, then he will be the teacher. He is our inner guide. That's from Sri Ramakrishna from the Gospel. The sage who spoke the Svetasvatara Upanishad said this about what he had found. There the sun shines not, nor the moon, there the sun shines not, nor the moon and stars, nor does lightning illumine, much less the earthly fire. He alone shining, everything shines after him. By his light, this universe shines. So these are some ideas that we will discuss in the context of you have the ability to open the treasure box that Sri Ramakrishna speaks of, and the sage who spoke the Svetasvatara Upanishad speaks of. Before we go on to the guided meditation, is there anything that anyone would like to say from your own wisdom or experience about Bhakti Yoga, about anything else that we've mentioned this morning, or anything else that you feel moved to speak about? Anything from your wisdom or experience, or any concern or question that anything that has been said raises? All right. We'll do this guided meditation. Please close your eyes. Sit calmly for a moment. And then visualize whatever you think of as a treasure box. Whether it be one of those small jewelry box kind of treasure boxes, or whether it be a Spanish treasure chest. Whatever is the treasure box that you visualize that treasure box. And within that treasure box, think, what is the treasure that if you open that box, that you want? Visualize what you want as existing in that treasure box. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it be something worldly, something spiritual, whatever it is, just visualize that. Now take all of that and just calmly pull it into your heart. The treasure box, what you want to find in the treasure box, just calmly take that into your heart and contemplate it. And as you do, you will notice coming from your heart a radiance, a shining. That shining increases and increases, increases and increases, increases and increases. More and more radiance, radiance upon radiance, cool radiance like the finest of moonlight. Radiance just filling your heart. And from that radiance extends a hand. And in that hand, there are keys. You extend your hand. And the hand that is emerged from the radiance drops the keys into your hand. The hand then disappears into the radiance, and you are left with nothing but the radiance, the treasure box, your hand, and the keys in your hand. These are the keys that are yours for the taking. As Sri Krishna says, whatever someone brings me in worship, that I will grant them. Those keys will open the treasure box, and whatever it is that you want, because every thought is a prayer. So when Sri Krishna says, whatever someone brings me in worship, we are being worshipful even when we're not aware of it. So you now have the keys, you now have the treasure box, and you can open that treasure box. If what you want in the treasure box is spiritual awakening, that will be granted also. So let's just calmly sit with the treasure box. In our hand are the keys, and the radiance surrounds us, the radiance of the divine presence that is able to grant our wish and teach us what we need to know in order to achieve what we want to achieve. All right. Now, slowly move the treasure box back outside your heart and outside your body and put it somewhere convenient to you so that the keys that you have can open it as you wish. Now open your eyes. Anything at all that anyone would like to offer about what happened during this guided meditation, or anything else that you'd like to offer from your own experience, or any concern or question that any of this has raised. We'd particularly like to hear what happened, if you care to share it, while you were having this guided meditation experience.
Brother Shankara?
Yes, Vijay.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
The most intimate part of the last 6 minutes were the personal visualization of the image that was imagined as the content of the treasure box.
Good. And each of us, whether we acknowledge it or not, have that treasure box that we want to have opened. As Sri Ramakrishna said, we've come to the mango grove, eat the mangoes. But he also said, and this is where the spiritual aspirant must be able to hold these two thoughts at once. Yes, enjoy the world. Enjoy the things of the world that are part of the contents, or perhaps all of the contents of your treasure box for the time being. But at the same time, hold the thought that find God, realize God. This is the purpose of human life. As Christ said, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all else shall be added unto you. Not just wisdom, not just righteousness, but as is pointed out in the scriptures, particularly Patanjali points it out, we just read it yesterday, that if your desire is sincere and pure, there is nothing that will not come to you. So, thank you, Vijay. Anything more that you'd like to add? Apparently not. Is there anything else from anyone about the experience of this guided meditation? Anyone else at all?
Well, this is Tom. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, sure can, Tom.
So I'll tell you my experience. The first thing that popped into mind when you said open the treasure box and what is it you want? I wanted my youth back again. I wanted my 20-year-old body where everything worked right and so on and so on. And then I thought I wanted a magic pill in there that would give me my youth. But then I thought, what about my friends that they would start being old? So then I wanted a big jar full of magic pills that would give youth to my friends. But then I thought, well, what about their friends? If you get young again and other people don't, you'll feel terrible. But if I gave the whole world these magic pills, then it would get overcrowded. Nobody would be dying and we wouldn't have any room for children. So then I dropped the whole magic pill thing and figured I just had to get old and die like everybody else. And then I wanted freedom. I guess I don't use the phrase spiritual awakening. I just use the phrase freedom. Freedom from all the illusions that make me miserable. Because I think that what divine enlightenment is right here, right now, if I just wake up to it, but a lot of the time I'm not awake to it because I'm, spinning in some sort of neurosis or illusion or whatever. So then I just wanted freedom. And that was my experience.
Well, how wonderfully narrated and how marvelously your mind works, Tom. Really, I'm very sincere about that. And the fact that you started off with this worldly desire, but you followed it through to its logical conclusion and saw the folly of it and said, so I just have to drop it. I just have to release it, which is the meaning of renunciation. And so what you did was discriminate against a desire that was the viveka, and then released it. That was the vairagya. You saw the folly of seeking this particular kind of way of regaining what seemed like a happy time in life. Very well said. Anything else from anyone?
Brother Gaurav here.
Yes, Gaurav.
Well, when I started visualizing, I saw a treasure chest basically in a dark room with barely much light, and I opened it and I saw a ball of light, which I took and put it in my heart. So I visualized those things. I'm not sure.
Well, that's perfect. That's absolutely there is no cookie cutter here. The possibilities are infinite because we are infinite. Each of us will have our own treasure box. There may be some commonalities among some of us, but this is beautiful what you visualized and how you visualized it.
Okay. Thank
Beautiful. How did it feel when you took the ball of light and placed it in your heart?
It felt very warm, extremely and yeah, and warm and calm.
This is the fire of spiritual awakening. As Christ said, those who are near me are seated by the fire. Those who are far away will receive no warmth. So you took the warmth and put it right in your heart. Beautiful. Perfect. Anything else from anyone? Anything about the keys? Anything about the ability to open the box now?
I'll share mine since it tags a little off of Gaurab's a little bit. My box, my treasure box, was a sort of a small beat up metal box, and it had been buried. And it was, and so I took it out, and at the point where you were saying to visualize, what you want, or see, I can't remember exactly what you said, see what you want in it. And what I saw was nothing. I mean, and it wasn't like I was disappointed to find nothing. It was that's what I wanted, was nothing. But you kept kind of going, talking about, and so I was like, well, I guess I have to see something in here. And then I saw that ball of light and went through the meditation as you were doing the guiding, and took the ball of light into my heart. But part of me was kind of a little annoyed, because I was going, well, it's already there. And when you said to put it back in the box, I was like, no. No, thank you.
Very good, very good.
So that was pretty much it.
Well, Sri Krishna in the Gita says that which resides in our heart, the indweller, the Atman. It's so interesting that when you looked in the box, there was nothing, because what Sri Krishna says, and for that matter, Meister Eckhart says in a sermon that he gave, that inner being, that indweller, has nothing, wants nothing, does nothing, and knows nothing. This is the freedom. This is one way of thinking about the freedom from all thingness that Tom Carr was mentioning. Now, he may have his own, and Salas does have his own definition of what he means by freedom. But that is one of the definitions of freedom that we find in these two talks, one in the Gita by Sri Krishna, and another by Meister Eckhart in the early 1300s. So, thousands of years apart, but pointing to the same thing, that when you come to the fruition of spiritual experience, there is nothing that you want, there's nothing that you need, want, or, as Sri Krishna says, your acts fall from you. Anything else from anyone, please? Thank you, Cindy. All right, let's go back over these two statements that I read earlier. Hang on while I fumble with the pages here. I have to print it in this very large type so I can read it. Oops. He who is the Lord of the universe will teach everyone. He alone teaches us, who has created this universe, who has made the sun, the moon, men and beasts, and all other beings, who has provided means of their sustenance, who has given children to parents and endowed them with love to bring them up. The Lord has done so many things. Will he not show people the way to worship him? If they need teaching, then he will be the teacher. He is our inner guide. Sri Ramakrishna. From the Svetasvatara Upanishad, there, within that treasure box of the sage who spoke the Svetasvatara, there the sun shines not, nor the moon and stars, nor does lightning illumine, much less this earthly fire. He alone shining, everything shines after him. By his light, all the universe shines. Now, I have a specific story about keys.
Amadas here, and I'm not sure that what I have to offer is more valuable than the silence. And as happens every twice in a while, I was late to get on the Zoom call, so I missed the instructions and spent my time wondering what the context was, enjoying the silence and being grateful for all the souls on the call. And that's pretty much mirrors my life, trying to figure out what's going on.
Well said, Amadas, aren't we all?
And I'm enjoying the silence too.
Well, that's
I'm in without.
That's a rich way to live, enjoying the silence. So what we did is we did a little guided meditation on having a treasure box and taking that treasure box into our heart and imagining what we wanted to find in the treasure box and then receiving the keys to the treasure box. So here's a little story. Is there anything else from anyone while we're paused? All right, here's a little story from Swami Brahmananda. Brahmananda, or Raja Maharaj, he was Swami Prabhavananda's teacher, his master, as Swami Prabhavananda called him, and he was the spiritual son of Sri Ramakrishna and Holy Mother. As such, he served as president of the Ramakrishna order from its inception until his leaving the body in 1922, April of 1922. And here's a story he told about being president of the order. Many people came to him for his grace and for his spiritual power, and they often wanted him to give them something. And what he said was, I have the keys to the treasure box. I have the keys to the treasure box. But what they come to us for is potatoes and onions and eggplants. Now, is there anything wrong with that? No, there's nothing wrong with that. By potatoes, onions, and eggplants, he meant something of the world. They wanted their daughter, someone wanted their daughter to get an auspicious marriage. Someone wanted to make sure that their son scored well on an examination so he would get into the appropriate college. Another person wanted a lawsuit to go in their favor. Another person wanted a job. They wanted a particular job. These are the potatoes, onions, and eggplants of the world. And Raja Maharaj was not lamenting, not saying that they should have wanted anything else, but he was just remarking that I have the keys to the treasure box. The treasure box of what? Now we come to the real point of this conversation today. The great teachers, the avatars, the incarnations, they gather together the fruits of their spiritual experience, their spiritual attainments. As it's said in the evening prayer, breaker of this world's chain, that all of Sri Ramakrishna's austerities were practiced for our sake. His sacrifice was great in that he freely chose his birth in this prison, our iron age, as Vivekananda put it, so that he could unchain us and set us free. So this is what is in the treasure box of those great ones. And Christ did this. He said, I have overcome the world, and come to me, all ye who are weary and heavy laden, and I shall give you rest. By that he meant he would remove your sins, your karmas, and give you refuge. So these are the keys that if that is what you want, as you are envisioning those keys being given to you, as we did in the guided meditation, these are the keys to that treasure box. And as Sri Ramakrishna said, if that's what you want, the Lord will teach you and will give you what you need. So, any comments or questions from anyone about this idea of the keys to the spiritual treasure box, that is the attainment and the what is passed along through the apostolic succession of these great teachers and saints? Anything at all from anyone about that particular aspect?
Brother Shankara, this is Haima.
Yes, Haima, please.
I just wanted to share about the treasure box. I was meditating on my chosen ideal, thinking that is in the treasure box, which is within my heart. So I told myself, me and divine, divine is within me. So I was worshiping the divine within me. And I felt that divine nature all over the box, that
Very nice.
empty space, and it's all the divine nature. That's all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Haima. Thank you for sharing.
I'd like to share. I'd like to share something as well with that.
Yes, please, Robert.
There was nothing in my box either. When I opened it, there was nothing there. And I had this thought that all of my life, there's always been something that I desired. And that kind of was a motivator for my life.
Mm-hmm.
And now I desire nothing. And after sitting with that for a moment, then I realized it would be wonderful to have someone to share my life with and to share their lives, for me to share their lives with them. And that was kind of suspended. There was silence after that, nothing.
Beautiful. Now, when you say someone to share your life with, Robert, how do you mean that? How would that actually be in physical reality?
Well, I have discovered in life, it is not in receiving that we benefit and enjoy. All of our satisfaction in life, if we really look at it, is in the giving.
Uh-huh.
Even the thief that goes out and steals, he doesn't do it for himself. He steals it and he gives it to someone else. And it's the giving part of life that's satisfactory, that satisfies one. So regardless of what you get, you can accumulate so many things, but if there's no one to give it to share it with, the satisfaction of that thing and everything is just, it's just things.
Yes. Very well said. And so I'm sure you're finding those people to share yourself and what you know and what you've achieved with. You kind of anticipated the end of the talk here. But before I go on and do that, is there anything else from anyone about their own experience with what we've discussed this morning, the guided meditation or anything else?
I just I had a thought about why not that many people are sharing. I had a friend who got engaged and was getting married, and I went to the wedding, and before the couple got married, he confided in me. He said, I'm not really sure that we can make something so personal and intimate a public thing. It was actually his concern about, the whole wedding thing was strange to him. He was an interesting person, to say the least, but that always struck me. And sometimes sharing something that feels very personal and sacred, sharing it seems like it dilutes it a little bit. And I may be totally off, but it may be the reason why at least one person or two isn't sharing. I don't think it's because people have nothing to say. So
I certainly understand. Someone that I knew well for many years had that attitude, that if it was really important, it was too important to talk about. Anything else from anyone about what Cindy said, or anything else that you might want to share? Okay. In the guided meditation, you'll notice that there was a hand that extended from the radiance of the divine presence, with the keys. What had to be true of your hand if you were to receive them? You had to have an open hand. It is only the open hand that can receive, which is exactly what Robert was talking about. Unless we are open-handed, giving, sharing, how can, if our hand is closed, how can we receive anything? How can there be the mutuality of giving and receiving? So this open-handedness, this generous heartedness, this recognition of the divinity that is being exchanged between ourselves and the invisible divine presence and the visible divine presence of these many people who are represented by these screens here this morning. We are, and as Cindy said, there is good reason for a number of people not to say anything. It isn't that they have nothing to share, they're sharing it. Their hearts are one with ours. As Swami Yogeshananda said, consciousness is primary and is not plural. So we seem to be many, but in fact, there is no plurality. There is only the truth of our one being. And so that is being shared. For those who are most open-handed, which is being free of doubts and fears, more free of doubts and fears. In other words, even a closed-handed person, no judgment or condemnation. They're simply more a prisoner of doubt and fear. So as we do our spiritual practice and become more and more identified with that being, that witness being, that Atman, that has nothing, wants nothing, does nothing, and knows nothing. The more we're identified with that, the more we can give away and we can perfectly receive, not because we desire, but because that is the nature of manifest reality. That if we are open and sharing, it will come back to us. Patanjali says it, Sri Krishna says it, Sri Ramakrishna says it, Jesus says it. These are the great teachers that tell us. So, is there anything more from anyone that you'd like to say, ask, or express?
Brother Shankara.
Yes, dear.
This is Janaki.
Yes, Janaki.
Hello. I think that what Robert was saying was that there's a yearning for deep connection. And I feel that I have that as well. And I feel that it is satisfied by the deep connection I feel as a bhakta to the divine being. And the more I turn towards that throughout the day, throughout many days, the more I feel secure and confident and taken care of all the time.
Oh, how wonderfully said, Janaki. Yes, indeed, that is exactly the goal of Bhakti Yoga. To come into that relationship with our divine. What does it say in the opening prayer? May the divine being support and nourish us. May the divine being look over us loving. All of that is a reality for us when we turn our attention that direction and begin to feel that unconditional and everlasting power, grace, and glory of our divine parent. Thank you, Janaki. Well said and well connected to what Robert said. Anything else from anyone? The Isha Upanishad opens with this well-known verse. We'll close with it, except for any continued conversation. I won't do the Sanskrit because I can't read it well enough to do it well. So I'll just read the translation. Om, that is full. This is full. This fullness has been projected from that fullness. When this fullness merges in that fullness, all that remains is fullness. Om, peace, peace, peace. That is full. This is full. This fullness has been projected from that fullness. When this fullness merges in that fullness, all that remains is fullness. Om, peace, peace, peace. The fullness is that which wishes to embrace it, us, share itself with us, and offers us the keys in terms of knowledge of spiritual practice or whatever other practice it is that we need to have what we want from that fullness, because there is nothing but that. There is only that. Does anyone know that it's so beautiful in Sanskrit? Does anyone have by heart that that Purnamadam mantra? All right.
Yes, Brother Shankar.
Yes, Bhagarat, please say it.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Is there anything you'd like to add about what was said about the English translation? Anything from your knowledge and experience with that frame of reference and that mantra, Bhagarat? Anything to add?
Of course, this is a very symbolic shloka. You can expand it you can branch it out, you can contemplate, you can expand it, you can contract it. It has all the property that no other physical object can ever give you. That is why it has been so popular with the scholars and the thinkers in Hinduism. But my thoughts were slightly in the thoughts that were expressed before, especially about the box, because we have got one British surgeon, Brand, B-R-A-N-D-T. He is British, but he has been raised and he has completely given his life to India and to the suffering of the lepers, because he was a surgeon and he did that one. But anyway, he calls the brain a jewelry box, and we are talking about the box. So I was thinking about that one. It's a jewelry box, but it's a very phenomenal jewelry box. It is closed from all the sides. When we are born, the front part is soft, what is called fontanelle. They also close soon after the birth, and they ossify, so that seemingly there is no passage to enter the skull and the brain. And yet, the brain is the most open organ in the entire body. How do those thoughts come? How even in the utter silence that most of us were observing today, so many good thoughts are coming freely in and out, in and out, in and out. No keys needed. And yet it is closed. And therefore, I'm thinking that we are continuously in contact with another source. Apart from our visceral messages that can enter and get out, and at the same time expand the contents of the mind all the time. That is why Shankaracharya said, Manasa kalpate mokshaha bandhastenaiva kalpate. Mind is the organ. If you want to feel that you are a slave, it will let you feel like a slave. If you want to feel you are a master, it will let you feel like a master. So that is the reason why perhaps Cindy and Robert also said that there could not be nothing in the box. But then no thing is in the box, not nothing. No thing is in the box. And we are not talking about thing. We are going beyond that one. And therefore, I think most of the thoughts that you expressed today and generated this discussion is really worthwhile thinking on. Only the second point which Cindy raised, because I have conducted about 400 plus weddings, I can relate to the concept of marriage. That in the marriage, according to the Hindus, before the groom says, I want to get married, the bride says, I want to get married, the priest says, Savdhan. Savdhan means be alert. It's a heralding tool. Know what you are doing. At that point, Ramadas, who was Shivaji's great guru, when he was seated on the pulpit to get married, when he heard that, he says, why does he say that one? I have something to be cautious about, something to think about. And therefore, he got up and ran away.
Yeah.
That's the only instance he documented. And I said that because tomorrow is Shivaji's birthday. And this Ramdas was Shivaji's guru. And then he established his own life, which is entirely a different story, which I don't want to get into. But this Savdhan is coming to us all the time, not only the time of the marriage. At everything that we are doing, at every crossroad that we are facing, everything that we decide to do and decide not to do, that Savdhan is a thought which is coming from above.
Hmm.
Deaf to it, or you can listen to it, is a matter of opinion, but Vedanta makes a passage of that voice so patent, so clear, so tube-like. Really speaking, we have no choice.
Well said, Bhagrat. Yes, we have, as long as we are alive, it seems we have choices. But as Sri Krishna says, don't be deluded. It is the work of the gunas. It is not your choice. And this no thing in the box, this is a blessed state indeed. No need for anything in the box. It doesn't mean the other states are not blessed. But that is a most auspicious state, to not need or want anything in the box. Then you open it into that silence, that fullness that is in that Purnamada chant. Anything else from anyone? Anything at all? All right, dears, it's a little afternoon. Let there be peace in outer space. Let there be peace in the sky, on the earth, and in the waters. Let there be peace in the herbs, the plants, and the trees. May the gods be peaceful. May the whole universe be pervaded by peace. Let that infinite universal peace prevail throughout my being. Om, peace, peace, peace be unto us and to all beloved beings everywhere. Om Hari Om. Om Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamaya Abir Moiti. O dearly beloved Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from this realm of noise and falsehood to thine abode of silence, serenity, clarity, and peace. Lead us from darkness to light. Lead us from darkness and ignorance to the brilliance of thy wisdom and love. Light us through and no. Lead us from death to immortality. Light us through and through with thy everlasting, shining presence. Om Jai Shri Guru Maharaj Ji Ki Jai. Durga, Durga, Durga. May we all be safe. May we all be healthy. May we all be cheerful. May we all have peace of mind. May we all be and know we are in the loving and protective embrace of the Divine Being as our Mother and Father. Om Hari Om, Om Hari Om, Om Hari Om Tat Sat. O beloved Lord, make it so. Any final thought from anyone? We don't have our Lori with us today because she's in the Okefenokee swamp. She and Jerry.
They are.
Yeah, she and Jerry have gone to the Okefenokee swamp.
But Daniel brought his puppy. What's your dog's name? Daniel, what's your dog's name?
It's like Milo.
Milo. Hi, Milo. Who's a good boy?
Yes, hello there, Milo. So glad you're with us.
He's having a good time.
Well, this is a good time, isn't it? This spirit of belonging and caring and being together. So, any final thought from anyone? Thanks for sharing your dog with us, Daniel. All right. May the keys be yours and may you use them in the right good spirit. Jai Shri Guru Maharaj Ji Ki